Hello and welcome to another episode of the Top Cinco Pod. I've got two new guests with me tonight. A newcomer. Would you like to introduce yourself, bro?
I'm Darren.
Darren
Russell.
Geezer.
Did you forget my name?
No, I didn't actually forget your name. Of course I know you are, mate. Of course I know. I know all my guests, mate. I know all my guests. No, Darren. Funnily enough, from the gym that we used to go to.
No, the sauna. I never went in the gym. I never went in the gym.
Never catch up in the gym.
It was the gym establishment, but yeah.
Sauna only.
He was never in there. I was doing the hard work, and then I'd catch him in there, and that's how we got talking. So he had to be a part of this, and had to get him on. Cash Murray, been here before. Thank you for coming on again, bro.
You're welcome.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm very good. Yeah.
How's the football been since you were last on? He said, well, it was still the same room but different setting for you. What do you think of the new setting?
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. Much more professional looking, to be fair. Yeah, mate. It must cost you a fortune, all this stuff.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Must be making money out of it.
Steady. Thank you for coming on there.
You're rich now.
If you saw his past episode, if you saw his past episode and you were like, oh, it was over there, it was a bit dark, it was a bit dingy. It was good topics and good content, but
probably the best one, I'd say, but didn't make the cut. We're back anyway. We're back,
and it's good to have you back. Two United boys. And we're going to get into it. We're not going to start with United, though. We're going to start with Bournemouth because they are taking the Premier League by surprise this season, I would say. 100% by surprise. First and foremost, what do you guys think about what they're doing? And then we'll get into their crazy run and what they did over the weekend.
Far away, Darren.
I mean, I don't watch them too much, but they smashed us at Old Trafford. And I think it's... I mean, they're... one of those teams that you can't dislike. Me and Adam, went to watch United there, and the fans are actually all right. There's not too many of them, but what I like about them is the players that they have that are sort of standing out now. They just come from nowhere.
Yeah.
You had Clive, so I think he was at Ajax, Roma, and he kind of didn't cut it the big
Journeyman,
clubs. And now he's gone to a club. The pressure's off him. The ability's there. If he'd come to us or a bigger club,
I think that's what he needed. Yeah, because everyone knows that he's the son of Patrick, and it's those are big boots to fill.
He's got the name and he's come, and now he's digging him out of games. Then you've got the boy at the back, the Spanish lad.
Yeah.
Again, we couldn't sign him because there's too much pressure to come in and just do it.
Yeah.
He's gone in there. He probably won't be there for long, but he's gone in and he's just getting on with it.
So you've been impressed by Bournemouth?
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch too much of them.
Like you said, yeah.
But it's difficult to not be impressed.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Murray,
I watched them for the first time against Newcastle, I think, away properly. Mm-hmm. And I compare every team to United, naturally.
Yeah.
And they've got Semenyo, Clivert. They've just got pace and power everywhere. Yeah. We haven't got that.
Okay.
We don't have that at all.
Yeah.
Loads of technical players. And they don't have any pressure. Like playing for Bournemouth, I think there's obviously pressure to win for every player and every team.
In the Premier League, of course.
If they lose a game, it's not headline news. Yeah,
of course.
So when they beat the Forest game, the 5-0, that's just a team that's playing with no pressure at all, I think.
Yeah. And you mentioned the 5-0, but let's talk about it. So that's back-to-back hat-tricks for a Bournemouth player. So Otara, I want to say, or...
The striker.
Otara. With the hat-trick. Impressive. Clivert with the hat-trick the week before. They're literally just firing on all cylinders. Did you expect that result first and foremost? Because I personally didn't. You think that was going to be a tougher, or it's going to be a closer game than it was, because they're two teams that are overperforming this season, and then obviously Forest are away from home, but you don't expect them to catch 5.
No, I think,
especially when Bournemouth have got X amount of players that are out missing through injury.
I think Forest are in a bit of a false position. I think they're good, but they're not. Do you know what I mean? They're not.
Yeah, they're not going to stay there, are they?
I don't think they're.
You're saying they're not staying there?
Nah, they've had a good 2-3 months, I think, but they will fall away. You
expecting a drop off.
They will fall away, yeah, but they're massively overachieving now, and if they do fall away, It's not going to be relegation.
Yeah.
And it's going to be mid-table, which, look, top 8 maybe, whatever, but I don't see them staying.
Yeah.
He's done well since he's come in. Nuno's.
Yeah, he's done. So now, as a Forest fan, quickly, what's your expectation? Where do you want to finish, or where are you expecting to finish now?
I think if they got Europa, they'd be all right with it.
Yeah.
I would be happy with Europa if I was a Forest
Yeah,
fan.
they wouldn't expect Europa, but I think now, where are they? Third now, fourth?
In terms of the table, let me
So I
have a
think
quick
now,
look for you. They're
we've got
third.
4 months left.
23 games, 44 points. City are same amount of games, and they're 3 points behind.
So I say they'll fall away, but at the same time, we're 5 months in, and they're still there. So you think
15 games to play.
So I think, look, yeah, I mean, I think if they finish Europa, they'll be buzzing because they wouldn't have set out, Forest or what?
They were tipped to go down.
Yeah,
they were tipped to go down. I think a lot of people forget that as well. They were actually tipped to get relegated.
But it's like what we said about Bournemouth. Forest is the same. So you go there. Chris Wood, right? Yeah. No pressure on him. He's been to, was it Newcastle he was at?
Yeah, it was at Newcastle.
Didn't do it. He's gone there. They have Alanga now. They've got Hudson-Odoi. These players are all performing. Then they've got the boy, the fullback who was at Chelsea. What was his name?
The left back. Aina.
Black boy.
Aina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah.
So go, but then he'll probably go somewhere else in a
Well, he went to Italy and he did his thing and then got
so Forest are overperforming and I don't see them staying. But nobody would have said in August they'll be where they are now.
It's the Premier League, so let's see. Let's go to another team that I don't think we're surprised by it because I think the teams that came up, we all thought were going to go back down. We'll talk about Leicester because obviously Ruud van Nistelrooy's gone in there. Spoke about him last week. For me, he was my stinker of the week in terms of the manager, which we'll get onto in the next section. But Leicester were on they ended their 7-game losing streak, and it's again Spursy. So Spursy. There's a team that or a player that hasn't scored, or a team that are struggling, and they go to Spurs and they manage to turn it around. And 2-1. Spurs obviously took the lead. What are we saying about Spurs?
I had Tottenham in my accumulator.
Yeah,
right.
To win
as a banker, and I saw that they 1-0 up, and I thought as soon as it gets to 2, it'll cash out for me, so I don't need to worry. And then I go back, and it's like, I mean, I think Leicester's a tough job for Van Nistelrooy. I was surprised he took it, but I understand why, because he needs a job like that to prove he can be a good manager, right? But he's gone to a club, no money really, no one's going to go there. Yeah. You can try and get people on loan, but it's difficult, and Leicester will probably go down, right? He'll get the blame for it. But what did they expect?
For me, they were one of the ones that were always going to be going back down.
That's a big result, but I don't see them. Yeah. They'll probably.
I think he'll be alright because they're probably expected to go down. Their fans probably expecting to go down, and he'll get a season in the Championship where he manages a full season. Probably will go up again with the players they've got. Yeah. And he'll be alright when he comes back up. But I like to see him doing well.
He has to go up in style then if he does it.
Any decent players they've got now, though, if they go down, they get taken by Premier League clubs for next year.
Yeah, but they still always come back up, though. They're one of them teams now.
I was surprised he took it. I was surprised he took that job because the expectations are,
But he's in England now. The United thing was a mess, wasn't it? He came to be at United. Ten Hag left, and then he's just left.
I think there was eyebrows raised when he went there in the summer because it's like, okay, he's going in there as assistant, but even me, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, is he
there
maybe
to take the main job?
Is he ready to take the job if
I don't
Ten
think
Hag gets the boot because they wanted to replace Ten Hag anyway. So if we have him there in the background and he's there on a day-to-day and he's doing this, he's doing that, then we can maybe...
I'm not bringing him in if I'm Ten Hag, I'm not bringing him in. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're looking over your shoulder straight away.
It's a manager.
And the
because
fans
he's been a manager.
And the fans love him. Yeah, he did well in Holland, the fans love him. But I think when Ten Hag went, him doing that 4-game thing was a free shot. Yeah. If it wasn't expected to go well, or because we were shit then anyway, and he done well. And then I thought he was going to go back in. He was going to go to Germany somewhere. But then he's probably better than Leicester, I think.
I think so.
But then the right role needs to come up.
He wants to prove himself. It's the toughest league in the world. That we all know this. We see it week in, week out. With Spurs, we'll touch on them quickly again. Just going back to that, in the summer they signed quite a lot of youngsters. It's clearly not paid off for them, but they have had a lot of injuries as well. What are we saying about Ange? or just about what's going on there? Does
Tottenham.
there need to be change, or is it just tough luck because they've got so many injuries? They have a lot of injuries.
Tottenham.
Yeah.
So I quite like Tottenham. I've got no issues. I like the team. I don't mind the fans. He was, when he came in, a breath of fresh air. But I think he was a bit too much. He was almost found him a little bit too arrogant at the beginning.
Okay.
This is how we're playing. I don't care what I check. Now he's at the other end of it where he's not getting all the praise and he doesn't want to change. And look, it's nice that he's sticking to what he knows. Yeah. But when you've got that many injuries, you know, both of his centre halves are gone, and he's probably got. You know, you look at that's a big loss. They're probably one of the best pairings.
Let me see if I can have it.
They're probably one of the best pairings in the Premier League
in terms of what, their centre halves.
Centre halves, yeah.
Okay.
Romero and Van der Ven.
When they're on their game.
When they're on their game. But you take those two out, and then the goalkeeper's been gone for a while. It's a big. I mean,
Is Van der Ven for the season?
Is he?
Is he out for the whole season?
I don't know. He's got hamstring
Well,
trouble.
look, let me reel off the injuries. So you got Udogie, Solanke, Johnson, Romero, Jed Spence, Vicario, Maddison, Van der Ven, Werner, and Odegaard. That's 10 players,
and they're all good players.
And they're all players that, let's be completely honest, they'd either be starting or at least on the bench.
For Man United.
The bench yesterday was so. Okay, you do, like, every team goes through injuries, and Newcastle had it last season where they had tons of injuries, and Eddie Howe had to deal with it, and he was getting it, and you know, he had to deal with what he had, and he, you know, now he's reaping the rewards because now he's got a fully fit squad, and look at what Newcastle are doing and what they've done this season. So injuries are obviously a big thing, but every team deals with injuries, but then it's also like, I've never seen Tottenham with this amount of injuries. What's the gaffer doing as well? So maybe that's something that you need to question.
The way he plays, that high line he plays, so you need Van der Ven straight away. You also need proper defenders. Yeah. Now and the fullback, Udogie, they're all quick, they're all strong, they're all proper defenders. Now he's playing that same high line with a makeshift, you know, Archie Gray's playing centre back, and he's a fullback. Yeah. And he's a young fullback.
Fullback or midfielder.
Young fullback or midfielder, yeah. So you can't get away with it, and it's good that he's sticking to what he knows, but at the same time, he's throwing players in a real.
I think he looks like he hates it. I think
he's snapping at people.
He gets
now.
so emotional about someone shouted at him in the tunnel yesterday, like, we're gonna go down. And he's like, who said that then? And everything's like a reaction, isn't it? Every time in the media, like someone questions him, he's like, well,
he's a sensitive.
What do you mean by that? And they're like, well, it's just a question.
But he's pissing people off now, whereas a year
at the start,
ago, a year ago everyone loved him.
It was a bit like a character, wasn't it?
Yeah, like now he's annoying people.
Yeah.
So the breath of fresh air is no longer. Let's roll into. I want to talk about the refereeing in the Premier League. I don't really like to give them too much time of day on here. We want to talk ball, but referees seem to be talking point of a lot of games and have been across the season. Let's talk about Lewis Skelly first and foremost, because that was the main talking point of the weekend. What did you guys think of that when you saw it? You've all played the game. Like, is that a red card for you?
It was Arsenal, so I was happy.
I was just going to say. So I can't stand you all, right? So I was buzzing, and I thought they're going to be 8 points behind. Yeah. And on my Twitter feed, there's like a little contingent of your lot that just come to me. I was buzzing, and then it was never. So someone said to me, "Have you seen it?" And I was like, "Was it a second yellow or was it a red?" It's a straight red. I said, "Look, it's not a red, ever, but I'm buzzing." But it was poor. It was really poor. But the problem with refereeing is now there's too much going on upstairs. Yeah. So he can't make a decision because they're always second guessing.
But then who made that decision himself? Like,
they're always getting. But just.
And then VAR's there to eradicate.
So it goes. Yeah. So the VAR thing for me, and it works sometimes. But there's so many. Even when it does go to VAR, your opinion up in that room could be different to mine. So whilst you have got the rules, you also look at things in different ways. So what might look like a foul to you might not be intentional to me. Yeah. So I still think there's human error. Yeah. So referees make mistakes, right? And that's fine. But I would love to scrap VAR and just let them ref the game. And you'll get some right, you'll get some wrong. But we're getting right and wrong ones now. Yeah. So all this referees now got so much pressure on them.
Do you know what? I think we should scrap it as well. Just make sure that you've got the goal line technology there.
Yeah, goal line technology. The watch goes.
Maybe even the offsides, if they can get that line the way it was in that World Cup.
It's too much going on.
They literally were just clear and it was quick and it was just like boom.
It's annoying that you can't celebrate a goal now. You can't, like yesterday when Ahmed gets a second for United.
Yeah.
I'm jumping around my living room.
You're wanting to do absolute scenes.
But you won't want to be a referee now. There's just too much to think about, and you can't just concentrate really on the game because you're always worried about
that.
You're going to get pulled up on this, or you made the wrong. It's just.
Yeah, but do you think
is it a red card for you?
No, it's not.
No, never.
But do you think the standard's poor now because they don't need to be as there's not as much contention around decisions and stuff? Because if they get it wrong, you've got the fallback of VAR.
But referees can't really be proper referees anymore because they're like robots now because they're being told what to do.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah.
So the better referees don't stand out now. The better, you had that Italian Collina. Remember years ago?
Oh my God!
He was like
My dad used to love him.
Yeah, he was the man. But when he made a decision, you trusted him because this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But now I think you can bring referees through the system and they can use their initiative to a point, but they're all robots now.
Yeah. I think the Champions League refs are actually really good.
I was about to say, the referees in Europe are pretty decent.
There's like a French guy, he does a small guy, it looks like Trossard.
Yeah, he's a great ref.
He's really good.
Yeah, he's a good ref.
And he's got to do with VAR and stuff, and it doesn't affect him, so I think it's just
he's built a reputation for himself as well as being a stern and very good referee. So
never a red though. I mean, in a million. Look at Bruno got sent off for something which was a lot worse than that, and it still wasn't even bad. I mean, he flicked a leg out. He stopped the counter attack.
I thought he'd given it because it was high or something.
It's a booking.
It's
never a red. But that could have been the difference. Imagine you never got the win. And you're closer to Liverpool. Well, that can cost your club millions, right?
You're thinking about. You see that game, and as an Arsenal fan, and you've been watching what you've been watching, we go down to 10 men, and you're like, right, crap, that's it. We're losing this game.
Well, you write the game off, don't you?
Wolves are fighting.
Like a draw's not good enough.
You're just like, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
But it's also like, oh wow, this is and this is the refereeing, and we've had decisions this season. It's not poor Arsenal or anything like that, but there's been other teams as well. But we just
sounds like it, mate. It sounds like it.
He's going, you want to get the sympathy out of us too,
listen, it's fine.
You got the wrong crowd.
It's fine.
Crowd for us. Sympathy around here, mate.
Last week I introduced a section that I want to carry on doing, stinker of the week for the gaffers, because we always talk about players, but the gaffers need to get it as well. So let's start with you first,
yes.
Adam. Who's your stinker of the week?
You can't say the same honestly now.
in terms of manager.
Ange, obviously.
Yeah.
He looks like a bloke that hates the Premier League, kind of hates. Maybe doesn't hate the Spurs fans, but doesn't like. Remember when he had the whole thing with the throw in the game against Arsenal when they were going to win the league?
Yeah.
Last year, and he was like, he just didn't get it, and I just don't think he's like Darren said. When he first came, he was a bit of a character, and he got involved with the media. Now everyone's just a bit sick of it, and he looks like he's sick of it as well.
Are you sick of it?
Well,
with Ange.
I don't really care. It's like because Spurs are just Spurs. I have nothing against Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like Spurs, but I like the way he tries to play.
Yeah.
Like Spurs on their day can play really good football, but
they're actually, like I've said before and here, exciting to watch.
Got some really good players.
They got really. There's lots of players I take from Spurs and
when
the
a
United
fully
team,
fit Spurs squad,
but they're a bit. They've got the Spursy thing that is a thing, and they're a bit naive, aren't they? I think when they play that high line, they play. They're playing against players like Haaland and stuff. You're just going to get killed.
Yeah,
and they don't. You have to change it at some point because you end up where they are now.
But that's the gaffer for you, and you have to question him, and he's not changing, he's not adapting at all.
It's hard, isn't it? You got to stick to what you know and what you trust. But like we said, when you play that high line, you need proper trust in those people. He's now just mishmashing a back four together, and
it's crazy.
And a new goalkeeper. And it's like he's just
crazy.
He's throwing stuff now and hope it sticks.
So who's your stink of the week?
Ange. I mean, to me he looks like he's waiting to go. He's kind of like he knows his days are numbered, and he knows he's going to get a big fat check at the end of it. But he's not going to throw the towel in. He's probably had his time where it went really well, but I don't think the season's going to get any better for them. I mean, I think they're obviously not going to get relegated, but mid-table, but that's not good enough for Tottenham. And all the players like Maddison, I take him at United, or would have taken him. Kulusevski.
Yeah.
You look at our team now, we have good individuals. We're not a good team. I'd take Solanke, Kulusevski, Maddison.
2 centre-halves.
Pedro Porro. I'd take the 2 centre-halves, the left back.
Yeah.
And confidence is everything.
Yeah,
it's everything.
Confidence is massive in football.
I was saying this to my son a few months ago when he's like 18, and I said to him, like confidence is the best player in the world can shrivel because of that, and it's everything. And Man United, Tottenham, they've got players that were getting a lot of squads individually, but look at them.
Yeah.
Crumbling, they haven't got the confidence.
So
Ange
for me's had a stinker.
That arm on the shoulder.
And he fucked my bet up. So.
I would have. I honestly would have gone with.
So I hate him even more.
It cost me money, bro.
Yeah.
It cost me money. I'll switch it up. Because this is very easy to say. Ange, stinker of the week. Let's go with Hassan Hootel at home to Everton. Moyes has done well. He's come in. He's secured the ship at Everton. But you would think he's probably looking at that thinking hasn't. Sorry, what am I talking about?
The Brighton manager.
Fucking what's his name? Man said Hassan Hootel. You know. Do you know how
you have to edit this bit out. Yeah.
We'll keep it in because that's shocking for me. But Brighton. At home to Everton. Everton obviously are down near the bottom, and Moyes is turning things around there. But you still would have thought that Brighton at home would have been able to minimum a point. Like, come on, 3 points should have been. What he's looking at. They've got injuries as well, but I guess the new gaffer bounce. I'm looking at the other gaffers this week. You know, Southampton. I don't really expect much from them.
I think Everton beat them last year, like 4-0 there. Do you remember that game? I think Everton beat Brighton away 4-0 or something last year.
Did they?
When they were struggling as well. So maybe they're a certain team.
So for me, it's he's going to get stinker of the week. Do you know what? I feel that's so rude for me. Let me actually get him up and pronounce his name properly because that was poor from me.
He's only young, isn't he?
He is. He's younger. He's younger than you, geezer. He's
younger than you too, I think. Isn't he?
Not me, mate.
Not me, mate.
He's younger than me. I'd say, mate. What old are you?
Fabian Hirschler. Fucking
miles. Would you say Hassan?
I don't know. I'm thinking about that Southampton manager.
Wrong team, wrong manager.
Completely. That was terrible for me. Yeah. So he's literally like he's 31.
But you can't. Yeah, you can't.
31. Did you just say?
He's 31. He's 32. 26th of February.
So as bad as his week's been, it's difficult to go at Brighton because they're really good. Of course. That's the thing.
But that's unfortunately
stinker of the week.
That's your stinker of the week.
Stinker of the week is getting the manager's wrong name.
Yeah,
I think
that's an absolute stinker for me.
Stinker of the week for a month.
We'll keep it in as well because
keep it in.
Fuck it. Gonna roll on to we've got the United boys here, so a little sector for you guys now. Let's make it interesting because there's a lot of players that I think fans would like to see leave. We'll go with you first. Who would you like to see
Anthony
leave
is gone
this season, Darren?
Anthony's gone. Needed to go. Look, it's not his fault he cost so much, you know. But he's done nothing for. Anthony's gone. Casemiro needs to go. I had to think about Casemiro, and he's as good as he was. And it's all well and good to say, "Oh, keep that experience in the squad." Yeah, but when you have Collier now who's come on and he's thrown him on at Anfield and he's done well. He's brought him on at the Emirates and done well. So you can't say keep Casemiro for the big games because the games don't come any bigger than that. Yeah. And you've already proven you're happy to throw a kid in. I'm not saying Collier's is good, but of course, if you're going to throw him on in them games and Casemiro doesn't get a sniff and he's on 350 grand a week. And that money, he's just, I mean, look, we shouldn't have bought him on that money, on that contract. But Casemiro, Anthony, I'm a big Rashford fan. Adam's not really, but I've loved Rashford for years, and I don't really give him stick. But I think the way that's gone,
you're ready to say by now.
I think he's got to go. I think he's got to go now because he's, you know, the way the manager plays, he doesn't fit into it. Yeah. All this shit about coming out, I want to leave. Once a player says that, he's he's like dead to the club, really. And I love him, and it's sad, but you can't have somebody that good on the bench, and not even on the bench. 300 grand again. So you get rid of Casemiro and Rashford. It's $750,000 a week. Yeah, you know, so that could get us another. Well, he's trying to treat it like a business now. You've seen what he's doing with his chops and changes from the hierarchy. So he needs. Yeah, I mean, I think those three. I mean, Eriksen. He's not. He's going to go at the end of the season, but we just got so much dead weight. But you can't get them. You can't get rid of them all in January. That's the problem. It's like you see people online saying, "Oh, get this, I get rid of these." You can't just do that.
Yeah.
You need clubs to buy them.
Club,
the wages we put them on,
Yeah.
nobody's going to touch them.
It's tough.
We couldn't get rid of Martial for years because he was on more than Mo Salah.
Do you know he's played like 10 games in a row
He's not been
now?
injured.
And he's not been injured.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But he was getting paid more than Salah. Up until last year or so, 180,
That's
190
bonkers.
grand. Yeah, but no one's going to buy him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anthony, Casemiro, Rashford, and I like Garnacho too. But if
the money was right,
if they're gonna back the manager, which I think that they are going to, he doesn't fit into that. He's not good enough to play in the 10.
Okay.
His feet are not good enough.
Yeah.
He needs kind of space.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying Garnacho as well?
Yeah, I don't want him to.
Okay.
But if they want to back the manager and get players that are going to fit that formation, like Steve-O said, Tyler Diblin, someone like that, he could play in one of those 10 roles.
Okay.
He's
I can
young.
see that.
He's young, and I'm not saying we'll get him, but he's young.
That's a bit too far for him, though. Like I said previously on this, he gets homesick. So
Does he?
that was
at
Chelsea to
Chelsea,
Southampton. That was homesick. So
was it?
imagine
Chelsea
him
left.
he's going up north to Manchester. Oh God.
Yeah, but someone like that, someone a lot less money, wages, who's
Of
more
that
fitted.
profile.
Yeah, because he's not an out-and-out winger, is he?
Yeah.
But so those four probably, and you say, but I'm disappointed with the Garnacho thing, I have to say.
Adam, who you getting rid of? He's giving me 4 names there, by the way.
No, three plus maybe one.
I think the biggest one would be Casemiro, probably, because just for the wages, I think that obviously the money situation at United now has changed massively, and he like he said, it's 350 grand a week for no games. Yeah. So
and he's not playing the big games,
and he can't cover ground. I think the Premier League is probably the league where you get exposed the most. You can't run. Yeah. And he and Eriksen, when they played together in that Newcastle game,
that was horrible. Horrible for United fans. Like, as a neutral.
Yeah, but do you know what annoys me about? Sorry to cut in. I look at teams with sometimes lack of mobility in the middle, and I think we'll overrun them. But we struggle with mobility in the middle, and when our slow players are in there. But other teams that play against us don't seem to have that same issue. Yeah. Don't seem to get overrun like we do. Do you find that?
Yeah, I think.
Like if I saw Casemiro playing against us, he would boss it probably. Do you know what I mean? We just don't. We need legs, but when players of that ilk without legs play for other teams, Enzo Fernandez, right? Yeah. Just say someone like him. He's not quick. He never will be. But he's the sort of player that would boss it against us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or someone like that.
Because your player
so he hasn't got
up against.
He hasn't got the physicality, but we struggle with the other teams, and maybe that's the setup of the team. I don't know. Yeah. But
so Casemiro,
Anthony,
obviously he's gone. So
I thought he was going to be when he first signed. I thought he was going to be. I said it to you that he would be brilliant. Yeah. Scored against Arsenal, Everton. I think scored straight away. It was kind of gave us something different, but I just couldn't imagine it'd be that bad. It'd work out for him that way.
A lot of money as well, wasn't it?
Too much money. Yeah. Not his fault, but too much money. Yeah. And it's got to be Rashford, I think. Yeah. Even though I don't, he says I don't like Rashford. That's not true. I think when 3 different managers have said that there's a problem with your work rate. Yeah. At some point, one of them's got to be right.
That's 3 managers.
That's
all professionals, all with very good qualifications. If we're talking about our coaching badges and we want to get technical.
He's such a good player. What would annoy me is he'll go somewhere else. And look, he might revert to type after a while, but he'll go somewhere else and he'll blow up for a season or 2. And he'll be unreal. He'll be drilling it in from 20 yards, beating players.
It's going to piss everyone off.
But I don't see there's a way back for him now. Yeah. And that makes me sad.
Yeah, I think he's... With the comments he's made, the comments Amorim made yesterday, where he's like, "I'd rather play the goalkeeper."
That was. I think that's the final straw.
But I don't think that was.
That wasn't about Rashford.
You could take it as that being about Rashford, but I think it was a general statement.
The media spun it, didn't they?
Yeah. If anyone doesn't work hard, you're not going to play.
You see the headlines.
But then because he was asked about Rashford.
Oh, were you reading it like that? Were you one of the? So you didn't read the proper quote? Get out of it.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for keeping me up to speed with that. These damn journalists, honestly, trying to sell stories.
That's literally it.
Truth on here, top Cinco.
Yeah, but this is the thing,
top Cinco pod.
but I listened to it. It was like he was talking about every player.
Yeah.
And because Rashford's out of the team, everyone just thinks it's a headline, isn't it? Man United. biggest club in the world, right? People
Yeah.
will disagree. Whatever. They're not
Yeah,
the best,
yeah, of course,
but
of
the
course.
biggest,
They actually are,
or
like,
one of the top two.
Status is crazy.
And it sells papers. It sells like whatever. So
He looks
There
like
you go.
he's sick to death of hearing about Rashford.
Yeah.
Asked about Rashford
I asked
every
about
week,
him all
same
the time.
question.
Just let me get on with my job.
Yeah,
but the
why
man
is
Shut
can't get
up.
on. All he's had is problems since he's come
Rashford
in.
this,
Everyone-
Rashford that.
What I like about him, and it's a bit different, he doesn't get, even though he's foreign, he doesn't let himself get trapped.
Yeah.
So when
He
people
answers the media
when
very
people are
well. He's very
grilling
good in the
him,
media.
Ten Hag trips himself up. When people are grilling him, he doesn't, like Jose, he doesn't let himself get trapped. Do you know what I mean? He's on
It's a
it.
Portuguese thing.
But he doesn't. But he doesn't give them any angle to come at him.
Yeah.
He
Covers all bases.
He nullifies everything straight
Yeah.
away. And
That's
whereas Ten Hag was like, they were whipping him, and he wasn't bright enough
He
to.
was a nugget, mate.
Yeah.
Ten Hag, he was an absolute nugget.
Yeah.
But that's United talk done for this week. We're going to move on to the last bit. The quick fire, but I've got questions for both of you as United. I'm going to ask you the same questions, see what your answers are to finish with. So, since Fergie has been in charge, obviously, I can't ask you your favourite managers. Every Man United fan is going to say Fergie, of course. But you've had a host of managers since Fergie. So I want to know who your favourite manager since Fergie has been. Let's go, Darren.
So my favourite has been probably Jose,
Okay.
maybe Solskjaer. The problem with Jose is we should have got him when Fergie left,
Yeah.
right? When we had him, it was too late, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of damage, more damage had been done.
Too little, too late.
And I think a lot of the boys, like your Bartleys, your Kelvins, they all disagree with this. But as great as he is, the sort of game's evolved now, and it's passed him by.
He's moving a bit dinosaur food.
He is, yeah.
for
Like when he joined United, but you have to love him for his charisma and all the rest of it. So I did love him, but he was buying like Matic, Pogba, Ibrahimovic, 6'4" robots. The game's different. I love Jose, but I think probably Solskjaer was my favourite.
Ollie Ball was.
I just love it. Yeah, but
exciting.
not that. But I just think if you're a United fan, he was like he's everything to Man United, and I think every United fan wanted him to do well, and they all felt whether he was good or shit. You know, I think most United fans felt bad with the way he left.
Yeah.
And he cares. So for me, probably him.
Okay,
I would
cool.
say Solskjaer. Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah, I'd
Favourite
go
manager
Solskjaer
same?
as well. Yeah, I
Solskjaer.
think he. I think he got a bit found out at the end. I don't know how he'll do in Turkey.
The fun
but
stopped.
Yeah, I think
Once
he.
the fun
I
stops,
don't know.
stop. That's what happened with.
Plugging gambling sites here as well. Now.
That's what it was like with. That's what it was like with Solskjaer.
Pay for all this, look. Yeah, I think he got found out just with. I think McKenna and Carrick were doing a lot for him behind this, but I think the
That's
highs
crazy.
the highs were
So
good with
those two were
Solskjaer.
working with him when he was there.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
two like Borough and Ipswich. They've done really well
Yeah.
there. So I think they were like the tactics, the
Okay,
brains
the
a
brains
little bit.
behind it, and he was just.
But
voice.
he's Man United, so yeah, I would say him.
Okay. Next question is: what was your best moment as a Man United fan, Darren?
I'm a bit older than you two, I know. So
Yeah, so
mine
we'll
would be.
go with it.
So. FA Cup 1990, replay, Crystal Palace.
Okay.
That was the first one I remember. Cup Winners' Cup 91. They're two that probably, beat Barcelona.
Best moments.
Yeah, but then you've got the treble, you've got, probably the Cup Winners' Cup 91, because I was 11, I was big into football, and I think Barcelona at that time,
Were massive.
Stoichkov, Romario, they were massive.
Yeah.
For me, it's obviously different for him because he's
Yeah.
younger, but for me, that was a massive, massive game. And then that started our kind of dominance. We won the Cup Winners' Cup, then we won the league. We started winning the league.
Yeah.
After that, that kind of set us up
Decent.
to go. Yeah.
Made a name for yourselves.
Um,
Murray.
2008 Champions League final. I think that was probably pound for pound our best team, the best team United have had for players, manager, just everything, like experience. You had like Scholes, Giggs was still in that team, Ronaldo, Tevez, Rooney.
Yeah.
It was just a ridiculous
Players.
team.
Yeah.
And to beat Chelsea was good, obviously. Terry slip-ins, just everything about it.
Iconic.
I think, I would say, Champions League.
That was your best memory. Fantastic. What a night that was, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's go with favourite United player, past or present. We'll go with you, Adam.
I struggle with this because I was thinking Keane, but it's got to be Rooney. I think Rooney had. People don't realise how good Rooney is. I still don't think people
He never gets the
appreciate
respect. He never
how
gets
good
respect, does he?
Rooney
He
is.
should do.
Rooney was.
Unreal.
I think he was probably. I think he's United's best ever player.
He was better than Ronaldo at one
Yeah.
point when they were younger.
I think he's
When they were
United's
a team.
best ever player,
Yeah.
pound for pound. I think he's what he did, players he played with. That season, Ronaldo scored all those goals. If you
What
watch
was
all
Rooney
those games,
doing?
you just see Rooney
Rooney
working
was
his ass off.
Madness.
So I would have probably said Keane just because he was probably the best
Instrumental.
captain United have had.
Very instrumental.
But Rooney did it for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rooney for me.
Darren, let's go. You're going to give us...
Oh, I know this. I
Someone-
know the answer to this. I think.
Go on then. See if you're right.
Oh, go on. He's going to give us
No, I'm gonna get. I would have said Brian Robson.
Brian Robson for me.
Brian Robson.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
educate us, please.
Yeah, so Brian Robson, where I was born, when I was younger, there was only United or Liverpool. There was no one else really. The big.
Where were you born for those? That was
I'm
obviously
Irish.
singing?
Irish, yeah. I lost my accent a long time ago. But back in the 80s, there was Man United or Liverpool. All
Yeah.
my mum's family, big United fans. And Brian Robson was the reason I started playing football. So Brian Robson and Maradona, but Maradona's not Man United, obviously.
Yeah.
So they're my two guys.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, around the sort of, when I was 7 or 8, he was just unreal. Him and Roy Keane for me are the two, but Robson just because the initial kind of...
He was a better player than Keane, wasn't he?
DMCM?
Well, DM wasn't a thing back
A thing
then.
back
It
then.
was just a midfielder, so he could
It's
do.
just a central
Robbo
midfielder.
was like he was fearless. He could score goals, tackle, pass the ball. He was a lefty, so he looked fucking brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Number 7, you didn't see a centre midfielder wear number 7. You remember
seven.
back in the day? Again, you're
That's
probably
a
too
winger.
young, but 7's a winger now.
It's a winger's number.
Back then, 7
and
was-
11 are your wingers.
Yeah, so that's where the United, that's, the iconic 7, George Best, but Robson was like, he wasn't an attacker. So, yeah, he was like an all-rounder.
Okay.
And if he wasn't injured, I think if he didn't get injured, England may well have won the 1990 World Cup. He was that good.
It's a big statement.
So Robson and Keane, but Robson probably because he's the one I remember first.
Okay. Love that. Well, it's a different name that...
And me and Adam met him at Bournemouth. So we went to watch Man
Yeah,
United.
we did,
went to watch
didn't
Man United, and we...
You must have been
I had
buzzing,
we had
boy.
tickets. We had tickets for the players, and some. So people say don't meet your heroes. Like
Yeah.
I was buzzing,
Yeah.
and I've got the pictures
That's
still.
what I'm
And
saying.
he was lovely. He was really
Yeah,
good.
guy. Yeah.
They get that all the time,
Yeah.
right? They get like they say fuck off, leave me alone. But he was cool.
Nice.
So we did meet him, yeah, which was
Decent.
nice.
That's good to hear as well. When they're nice as well, it makes it even better for you because nothing worse than finally meeting someone that you've been idolising or someone that you have a lot of respect for and they're just absolutely not.
That meant so much more to me than Adam. It's like Adam meeting Rooney. I'm obviously 10 years older, but it was everything to me.
Meeting Waz would be crazy.
Yeah, it was mad.
Him or Keane, yeah. I couldn't. It was hard to decide between them two. But
They're really similar, but I think, Robbo was just, it was a joke.
Just your guy.
Joke,
Just your guy.
yeah.
So we're going to the last question then before we wrap it up, guys. We have to talk about the transfer window because it's nearly closing. You get one signing. Who's it going to be for your team? Let's go.
Has it got to be realistic? Or who we think would fit best?
Let's go with realistic and who you think would fit best. So we'll give you two signings. So one realistic and one would suit best.
So, Christ. So I think for me,
Just one.
Ah, fucking hell.
Just one. Because I know you're about to go off on one. Just one.
Good times.
I'm telling you, one signing.
he's going to reel off 6 there, like quick.
Yeah.
He was ready.
Yeah.
So I think we need like a number 10, right? And when you have a look around, we need someone Prem proven, I think, because you can gamble on abroad. It might work out, might not. But I think looking who's gettable, maybe the boy at Wolves, Cunha.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
that-
2 years left on his
Is
contract.
that his name?
Yeah, Cunha. Matthias Cunha.
But he's not an out 9, is he? And he's got that kind of, he can play a bit deep. He's got that swagger, isn't
deeper,
he?
he can go forward.
He's got that swagger. He's got that. You can roll it into him, and you can kind of imagine him digging you out in a big game.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you get a young lad in from abroad, he might be great, but it takes a bit of time. So I think he'll cost money, but I think that's somebody I would look at probably.
Okay. Someone like Cunha, yeah.
Cunha, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want the unrealistic one, or are you going to?
Yeah, let's go with
Cole
your... Actually, yeah.
Cole Palmer. So no one.
Palmer.
So he's a Man United fan, right? But he is everything that we need. So my thing is, I played centre back. The hardest thing to play against for me ever was a central player that dribbles with the ball.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if you haven't played at the back, you don't understand how difficult that is to play against. And it's a dying breed now. So Foden does it a little bit, but Cole Palmer will, and nobody knew he was going to blow up the way he did. Right. He scores goals, he creates goals, you can smash it into him with people around him, he'll take it, he'll run at you, he'll pop it off, he'll have a dig. He's a Man United fan
as well.
He is perfect.
Crazy.
But we're nowhere near him. We're not going to get anywhere near him. And even if you had
that's why it's an unrealistic signing.
Yeah, but we could have, but I don't think Chelsea knew when they bought him. We all knew he was good, but no one knew he was going to do
They
what
didn't
he's
know
doing.
that he was going to actually...
But he, above anybody, he ticks every box.
Okay.
Every single box.
So for you, unrealistic is Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
Realistic,
Cunha. Yeah.
Let's go with your unrealistic first and then go realistic.
I think with the new system, we need wing backs, like desperately. Mazraoui and Dalot playing there is just painful. Yeah. Not because they're bad players, but because they're not attacking fullback. They can't. Dalot's got like the athleticism to play, but he's not good in the final. Yeah. And Mazraoui's like a fullback.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say I really like Hakimi at PSG.
Yeah.
Is this not in the right place?
No, that's fine.
All right.
I think
just making sure you can.
Yeah.
Just looking at me.
Sorry, no.
Like it's.
I was really trying to feel anxious with that. Sorry, bro. am I looking a bit?
He has a look at it. He's going like, yeah. That's not picked up anything the whole episode. We're gonna have to do it all over again.
The light's definitely still on. We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. It's good.
Hakimi at PSG would be mine. I think he's like your perfect wing back.
Okay.
But he'd be like hundreds of millions probably.
So that's your unrealistic Hakimi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Realistic would be the guy at Sporting, the striker, Gyökeres.
Okay.
Yeah, but
he's very like Højlund. He's got the same, but when you've scored that many goals,
confidence
sky
high.
We can't
sky high.
What did I say before? It was Højlund's had 12 shots this season.
Yeah.
For a number 9.
Yeah.
Xerxes he's not a out and out number 9. He's not going to sniff.
Link up.
Yeah,
but Xerxes is not your answer.
No. Højlund never looks like he's going to sniff out anything in the box. We've said that. He doesn't look like a natural
number 9.
Yeah, he's never going to. He's not going to score He's not going to score the shit goals.
Yeah.
Everything about him at the moment seems uncomfortable.
We'll come to you, Jack.
So I would take Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could get him as well.
I was thinking. I was thinking if we sold Garnacho to Napoli, we need a striker. There's a deal for Osimhen potentially could be done. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I think he's. I think he's.
I would hate to see him at United.
Like he loves a muscle injury, but I think you can't ignore. He's got that. He could just step straight in and be the man. And I think if there's a deal for Garnacho, it kind of works financially with the PSR, and you can get 60 million. But that would be a natural thing. But then you're overloaded with forwards, and when you said to me one player, we need fucking 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But that's
so you bring Osimhen in, and then you've got Højlund, then you've got Xerxes, and then you've got.
But if you get rid of Rashford, get rid of Garnacho,
it's not really.
Osimhen, but we've got so many problems that one's not enough. It's
not going to do anything.
Sorry, I should have given you more, but I can't give you more. But guys, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I would love to have you on again as well, to be fair. I think we need to get you on again as well before the end of the season. We can talk about United because we'll see where you guys are going to be in maybe like a month or two's time and
Championship,
see if you
probably
guys are feeling a bit more positive about where you are. And
we talk about your team. Talk about your team. Talk about your team. No?
Well, do you know what? We got the W. We got the W over the weekend. It was shocking from the referee. Still not very convincing to watch, if I'm honest, but we got the win. let's touch on the table before we finish, because obviously Liverpool are topping things, 53 points, Arsenal 47, and then Forest on 44, and then City in fourth on 41. Do we see much moving in that top four between now and the end of the season?
Well, I think Liverpool will win it.
Yeah,
I think that's fair, and so they should. Now, you guys, City, you'll probably be second. They'll probably be similar. What are you now? 5 points behind.
Yeah,
there'll probably be that gap, I think, at the end. But look, it only takes 2 games to swing it around, doesn't it? 2 games. But are you happy to go another 5 years without winning anything, or do you need to change your manager up, or what's? Like, are you deluded like most of your fans?
I'm not deluded, but like I'm also appreciative of the fact that we've gone from being an absolute joke and struggling season after season to even just challenge to get Champions League to now challenging for the league. He's made a big difference, but of course we're Arsenal Football Club. We need to be winning things, and there's no doubt that the pressure's starting to mount and time's ticking.
It has to, I think now it has to. 5 years is a long time. Yeah. He hasn't,
It's because he spent a lot of money.
He spent a lot of money, and he's going to buy resources. So I think at some point you have to stop. They are, and look, I hate them. I just find them a really difficult team to play against. I just think it's probably the toughest place.
I think they're the biggest rivals.
It's the toughest place in the league to go to, I think, in my opinion. But I think at some point, League Cup or whatever is not good enough. It has to be. You have to be for as good as you are now. It has to be league.
It's got to be. It's got to be Champions League. It's got to be Champions League or league.
Yeah, FA Cup's not even.
Because FA Cup, we've won it so many times. Like, we're record holders. I mean, it's boring.
For now,
let's get me Champions League, boys.
For now.
So what do you need though? So what do you need though? What sort of players do you need? You need a striker, don't you?
We need a striker for Champions League. Yeah, well, this is a big question because there's not much out there. Again, the only one really that I would think that would make sense if you're going to now, because you don't want to panic buy as well, but this would be the one that would make the most sense is Osimhen.
Yeah, and he probably
Jokeres, I don't know if
he would go there ahead of us, wouldn't he?
And I think he would. I think he would come. I think he would do a job. But I just don't know if he fits what Mikel wants to do there. And
I'm not sure.
Mikel's after. I don't know if Mikel's, because I did watch him AFCON and that when there was big hype about him in that Napoli season as well, and AFCON didn't really shine for me. So I was like, is he gonna do it in the Premier League? But on the shoulder of the last defender, he's got the pace. When he's in the box, he's
a bully as well.
He wants to get in there. He wants to score, mate.
See, we haven't got that. We haven't got
front post, near post. He'll gamble as well.
He's got a bit of Drogba about him, where he's just he'll strike it from anywhere.
He's a dog in the box.
Yeah, he's horrible.
And you need
imagine playing against him.
Yeah, you need a dog in the box.
Can I ask you one question about Arsenal before we finish?
Yeah, go on.
Would you prefer the football now, where it's a bit more stale, set pieces heavy and stuff, or prefer the time with Wenger when it was?
Wenger ball was beautiful.
See, I like Wenger.
Wenger ball was beautiful, man. Wenger ball.
Where it was a bit up and down, the results were a bit more mad, but the football was always great.
We always kind of got to fourth in the end, didn't we? That was the whole.
Do you prefer how it is now, or do you prefer? Do you prefer being second consistently and being
fourth? You're pretty much the same thing. The only thing that's probably different is the money that the club actually gets in terms of the second and the fourth. In terms of fans, I mean, no one really cares about anything other than first, really, do they? So
I just think a lot of Arsenal fans are sick of the football.
In answer to your question, I think that when you speak to the fans now, they probably would prefer the Wenger ball because they're starting to see that Mikel ball is starting to be a bit droll and it's not as entertaining as Wenger ball, and that's the long and short, I think.
Yeah.
Of that.
I actually like you lot when he was there, but I think the reason for a lot of my dislike now is a lot of fans have spawned from that Wenger era who are now 21, 22 and they're dickheads. And that's the problem. Yeah. But yeah, I still love Wenger.
That younger generation, I can't really speak for them, but they have opinions and they have voices and they love to get involved. We love it. They give us interaction. So yeah, big up to you guys, even though you have wild opinions. Another week, another episode done. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, follow, share and subscribe. And we're on Instagram, TikTok, and I'm also dropping on Facebook as well on my personal. But we are on @TopSincoPod on the Instagram and on TikTok and obviously YouTube as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again for the next episode. Guys, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks
for having us.
Adam, thanks for having us.
Darren, thank you very much. Thank you. We'll try and get some other fans on. United fans love it, but you know they are great hosts as well. Thank you very much again, and good night.